Today, we are going to be doing a review of the Academic, the signature deck box from Tolarian Community College. So my favorite deck for Commander that I own is my Kenrith the Returned King deck. This is a group hug deck. I've talked about it in a video before. I've played it on the channel before. Go check that video out if you want. I think it encompasses what I love about Commander, which is that it's a social aspect. If I wanted to be a little more cutthroat, I would just play other formats. If I'm going to play Commander, I want it to be more for the social aspect, and thus Group Hug I actually really enjoy as an archetype. Now, because this is my favorite deck, I actually do spend a decent amount of time, love, and money on it. There's a decent amount of foils, there's a lot of alternate arts, secret lair drop versions, stuff like that. And as a result, I want to make sure that I keep this deck in the best condition that I can. So I don't know if you guys have seen the Perfect Fit Dragon Shield inner sleeves, but I use those on here. And they basically make it so your deck is almost triple sleeved as far as thickness goes. It's not quite, but it's just about that thick, just to make sure that it has as much protection as I can realistically give it. Now, the problem with that comes with how you store the thing. Personally, I'm a big fan of the Ultimate Guard Boulder. I have almost all of my Commander decks in these, mostly just because I don't need the dice storage, and it makes them all stack really nice, especially when you get to the point where you have 20 Commander decks or whatever it is that I have now. The problem is that this deck no longer fits in a boulder. So now keeping it stored safe has been a little problematic. Now I do have one other deck that I keep sleeved like that, and that is my CEDH deck, which I have here in this little box made by Gamegenic. Now this actually is for this purpose, for double sleeved, the extra thick situation. The problem with these is that they're big enough, but they're not very sturdy. I wouldn't want to just throw this into a backpack. I don't feel that comfortable stacking other boxes on top of it. And to be fair, these are cheap. These were like, I don't know, $5 to $8, somewhere in there. But it's kind of hard to find these. I don't see them in stock at game stores very often. I don't see them online. The next option are these stupid little storage things that come with Fat Packs, the bundles, the $40 bundles that come out with the sets. These are actually basically perfect size for that, but obviously that's not very good protection, and it's kind of annoying to carry the whole bundle around if you wanted to do that. It's just not the best storage. And ultimately, all of that to say, that is why I picked this up. And if you think about the professor's premise for this, this is supposed to be kind of a luxury box to show off and take care of your favorite deck, your main deck that you're putting a lot of time and money into. And as you can see here, obviously it's enough room. Mission accomplished, good job, video's over. But really though, I mean, obviously that's like the main reason that I specifically wanted it. But there's other really nice features about this box, so we're gonna go ahead and spend a little bit of time talking about that today. And then at the end of this video, after I've been hauling it around for the last week or however long it's been, I'll tell you some of my more in-depth thoughts at the end of the video. And to be clear, this is not going to be talking about any of the extra fun stuff like the playmat or the dice or the tokens or any of that other stuff that you could have got. This is not talking about that stuff, though I will say I enjoy those things. I did get some of those things. This is solely going to be a review about the deck box. So first of all, the top of the deck, the lid, comes completely off, which is actually pretty dang sweet. I have had deck boxes before that when they open up, you just kind of have to keep it open, and that's kind of annoying if you need to get back into it for whatever reason. And Gamegenic has done this before where they have it to where you can just reattach it at the bottom so it's at least out of the way, which is also obviously really helpful when you're playing a 4-player game in the sense of Commander, and you're already taking up a ton of extra space on the table. You obviously just want to keep things tidy. As far as the main deck compartment itself, even with this deck size, as far as having some foils and the extra sleeving, there's still a ton of extra room in here. Now, luckily, they have these little cushion things, and those are obviously very, very helpful. And I don't remember if there were pre-order options where you didn't necessarily need that, but I will say if you bought this and you did not get this little cushion thing to kind of fill out the space, that was honestly probably a huge mistake. I see a world where you just have your normal sleeve, not a lot of foil deck, you throw it in here and you have way more room and it's just going to be sliding around. So honestly, this thing is a lifesaver. You will probably need to be using it unless you maybe have two 60 card decks that you're putting in there, in which case it's probably the perfect size. There is this little plastic divider that is off to the side, and it is designed to keep your plane chase, your oversized commanders. I guess you could put tokens over there. It's pretty nice that you have that storage option. What I think is kind of weird about it is that it slides out, but then it doesn't quite give you enough room to just lay your cards down across. So it'd be better, honestly, to just have it to where this divider just can't come out. I don't know what the purpose of being able to pull it out is if there's no other major use for it. Because if you're not using the oversized commanders or the plane chase cards or whatever else, you're still going to want that there just so your deck's not sliding around a bunch. And then right next to where the deck is stored, there is a little compartment, mostly probably for dice. You could definitely fit your tokens in there. And then that side folds out and you have two other trays that slide out and are great for storing your tokens or your dice. And these are really sweet. They have little grips too that they're easier to grab when they're actually in there. They slide out real nice. You can grab them pretty easy. This flap does just come down. And this is true for the whole deck box, but you can really feel it in these as well, is that the quality is just stupendous. This is really good material. And I have a couple other Gamegenic things for storage, and I enjoy the quality of their builds. I think that they build really good quality stuff, not only aesthetically pleasing and feels nice to the touch, but is also very practical as far as, you know, being able to grab stuff real easy. Speaking of grabbing stuff real easy, something I forgot to mention is that there are little divots on the side of where your deck is, so that it's easier to get your fingers down in there and grab your deck to pull it out. That's more or less it as far as features go, other than obviously having his logo on basically every side. It's pretty cool. But I'm going to be playing this for the next little bit. I'm going to just have this as the only deck I'm using and travel around with it, and then I'm moving, so that'll be interesting. And mostly that's going to be testing the durability. I'm going to be having this in a backpack and see if it holds up just fine. We'll see, like, on a practical sense what I think about it after I've got to play with it some, but yeah, I'll be back for the end of this video in a couple days. Okay, so honestly, I didn't get to test this out as much as I would have liked to do in order to do a video for it, because I've been moving and stuff, and I've only had it for not even a week. But I do gotta say, it's pretty dang sweet. I was throwing this in backpacks. The magnet's great. It's holding up really well. I can't get over how nice the material is. And I am starting to utilize some of the little bit of extra space that's in here as well. I tend to just use infinite tokens because then I can just use those infinite tokens for whatever tokens I need from any of my decks. But for this deck specifically, because this is a deck that I specifically kind of bling out and take care of, I probably will just go get all the specific tokens I need for it. I can keep them in here as well as some of my favorite dice, including the one that is from this Kickstarter. Now, normally in a situation like this, I would say, okay, it's cool. Good job of those of you who were able to get it. But the thing is this is actually going to be coming to the market. It is no longer just a Kickstarter. This is something that you guys will be able to get in stores. I think the plan is for them to do it by the end of the year. So that's going to open up the opportunity for a lot more people to get this if they want. And so I think that means that reviews for this actually matter more than they would otherwise. If this was just something that you got it in the Kickstarter and that was the only way to get it, then it would be like, if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. It doesn't really matter. But the fact that these are going to be out on the market, I think these reviews do kind of matter. But ultimately, what do I think about this? My one major nitpick with this thing is that it's huge. But again, I'm used to the Ultimate Guard boulders. That's what most of my decks are in. And that's because I usually host when we play Magic, in which case I just have like a big tote that's just full of a bunch of dice that people can all borrow. But if I'm going to be traveling around, this is a good way to make sure I have some dice on me. And this is a great way to take care of a deck extra safe that you care a lot about, which is especially helpful when it's the, almost triple sleeved thickness. Again, because there is that extra storage space, if you like the oversized commanders and stuff like that, this is a great option. There aren't very many deck boxes that let you do that. And I don't really know what the price for this is going to be. My guess would be in the $50 range, which is also a lot for a deck box. But I will say Gamegenic material is great. They're really sturdy. The magnets are tight. You can't really go wrong. So is this deck box for you? I think you just have to ask yourself, those same questions that I kind of already prompted. Do you need the extra thickness? Do you have a specific deck that you like to showcase and take extra care of? How much does the extra space for the dice and the tokens, how much does that matter to you? And then I think most of us like Prof. I think most of us like Tolarian Community College as a YouTube channel, in which case you're also helping them out by picking this up. So yeah, if you check those boxes, I think this is a great deck box for you. But that is my review of the Academic from Tolarian Community College. If you have picked this up, let me know in the comments. And if you haven't got it, are you going to get it? When these go out on the market, are you going to try picking this up? Thanks for watching. If you want more Magic the Gathering related content, make sure to like this video and subscribe and all the YouTube algorithm nonsense. And I will see you guys later.